I'm Noemi, and along with my partner Remy, we became the Wildcrafters. After building ourselves a tiny house, then a log cabin, we went on a 3-month trip during the pandemic, living the van life up north in a little teardrop camper we also made from scratch. These days, we are bringing you on a different path by challenging ourselves to make a unique and beautiful Airbnb from an old abandoned house. All that in 2 months, my friends. Hold on tight, because this is gonna be a wild ride. Hello, lovely people, and welcome to a very tired voiceover. This week was our second working in the abandoned house, and if we want to turn it into a rentable Airbnb before the beginning of the season, we have to operate on a pretty tight schedule. This week, we had to close all the walls that were left open before, and try to salvage the ones we could repair with plaster, so the house would be ready to paint by next week. This was our mission of week 2. But the thing is, we don't have any experience in conventional gypsum walls and plaster, and with very little time to learn that skill while having to basically redo the whole walls, we wondered if we might have pushed the challenge a little too far. The first step was to sand all the existing walls to prepare them for our plaster layer. The thing is, we aren't the first people who tried to renovate that house, and we realized some of the previous owners did totally fail that in the past. We had to start over in many areas, which added even more to the workload of this week. We tediously inspected each centimeters of the house, patching holes and scratching off old paint and blobs of old plaster. The truth is, it was a solid pain in the ass. This job totally sucks. Usually I try to see the glass half full instead of half empty, but sanding a dirty old ceiling by hand is just all I hate about construction, condensed in a dusty mess of a task. Fortunately, installing the gypsum panels on the other hand went on pretty smoothly and also quickly, which to a certain extent gave us hope that maybe we could reach our goal after all.
Hello. Sound.
Fait avec Rémi.
Je sais pas, mais il y a quelqu'un qui m'appelle. Ah,
C'est Jérémy. C'est juste pour faire les plafonds. Ils sont spéciaux, hein? Ouais, pas.
Ça, c'était qui, là?
Ouais.
À mon tour.
One of the challenges of working with an existing building is the fact that, especially for old houses, nothing really sits straight. Even after doing the very best we could with the weird angled corners, we had to hide some under trims to achieve a satisfying outcome. There's always little problems that comes up during projects that we can't really predict. It often means we go a bit late in our schedule, and it can have an impact on our goals if we don't make up for them in one way or the other. But sometimes, like this week, there's also unexpected help that comes up our way. My parents and some friends came over to give us a hand with painting the rooms upstairs that we managed to get ready for them. While they were painting, we focused on prepping the ground floor, and by that time, we became slowly a bit more skilled, both with the plaster and the sanding. Don't get me wrong, it still sucked though. The dust was just impossible to keep out of our eyes, and by that point we were all ready to move on to something else. But there was also this magical thing that started to happen. The house started to slowly look good in some areas, which was so encouraging after doing so much of invisible work so far, like redoing the insulation and electricity. It was easier to envision once again what everything will be like after doing all that work. And for the newbies that we are in more conventional building, we were quite proud of the seamless job we did upstairs.
C'est un peu courte celle-là. Ouais. Ah!
Mistakes were made, then corrected. Tears were shed even. Okay, I have to admit, only mine were. Every day, but just a little bit. Overall, even the worst job ever was made in a quite good mood, especially for Remy, which made really weird, happy sounds all week.
Moi, j'ai des shots de Mimi qui posait un petit point en haut, puis c'était difficile. T'as-tu pris
Ben
des
oui,
shots?
juste à la fin de la journée.
Ah ouais, pas de shots.
Out of sand, reaching for the ground. As willows align.
So in the end, did we manage to reach our goal for this week and keep up with our schedule on this project? The answer is yes. What we accomplished was even a little bit more than anticipated, as the second floor is not only prepared for the paint job, but the paint job is complete. As for the first floor, most of the prepping is done and there's only just a little bit of sanding left before being able to paint all the walls there as well. I can't be happier to say that the dusty mess is now behind us, and that soon this house will go from dilapidated to beautiful. Sometimes, when the days are hard and I feel tired like right now, I tend to forget all we achieve on a daily basis. I forget how much we pour our souls into what we do, and I especially forget the benefit that this particular project will have on our lifestyle later. It will represent a new income stream for us that might allow us to work less and travel more frequently. We chose to do this so we can have the freedom to slow down and take the pressure off making so much active income. What we do by renovating that house is creating value, both in our lives and the community where the house is located. I think all these beautiful things happening are worth celebrating with the first bonfire of spring, which we enjoyed Saturday night after an overall very successful week. See you soon, my loves, and I wish you a wonderful week.